Alright, what is going on everybody on YouTube? Griffin here, coming back to you guys with another live stream from the Millennial Motivation Entrepreneur YouTube channel. First and foremost, before we get going with this video, if you are new to the channel, we'd love to have you here. Definitely consider hitting the subscribe button below and hitting the bell icon right beside it. That way you will be notified every time we go live or upload another video for you guys. So today's video, it's going to be geared more towards people that are kind of newer. There might be some of you that just joined us recently. You might have been trading for a while, but more than likely a lot of you that will be seeing this are kind of new to the stock market and whatnot. But either way, I just kind of wanted to, I get a lot of questions about how my Thinkorswim is set up exactly, like what studies do I use, how do I set them up, how do you get level 2 quotes, all that good stuff. So I'm going to be addressing that primarily in the video, in the stream. I'm doing this live, but it'll be a video once it uploads here in a little bit. But before we get into all of that and whatnot, I know a lot of you guys like to keep up with like kind of how my trades go, what trades I'm doing, all that good stuff. I don't obviously want you guys to mimic my trades at all or anything, but it was a pretty active day today. Overall, you can see we had 9 orders total, had a couple canceled and all that good stuff. So we were holding, let's go all the way to this morning. So we had TQQQ and SPXL that we were holding overnight. I sold all the SPXL earlier this morning. Actually, I think what I did was right. Okay, so I sold out of both positions. I had 5 of TQQQ and 10 SPXL. They were each up roughly like 5 to 8%. So I went ahead and sold those, and then I bought TQQ back. I bought 5 shares once, and I bought 5 more shares when it dropped. And then I sold 10, as you can see, a little early, in all honesty, especially seeing how the market moved after hours. But I sold those for roughly $2 to $3 of profit per share. So it was roughly, I think the exact profit was like $22 or something like that. That was actually my first day trade ever since actually rolling with Thinkorswim the last going on 3 weeks. Actually, I think it's 3 weeks today, if I remember right, because it was Thursday when I officially had all my money in from Tastyworks that I moved over to TD Ameritrade. So it's 3 weeks today actually that I've been completely all in on TD Ameritrade. First day trade that I did. It was up good enough where I was like, you know what, I don't want to risk it. Hindsight's 2020, probably should have held it, but did not expect the news that we got in the after hours, which caused the markets to move up about 2% so far early on. And then with that, again, not knowing what we know now, I hopped in some SQQQ, and then to hedge that, and I ended up buying a little bit more and a little bit more, and I'm done. I'm pretty much done buying it now with SQQQ. I told myself once I get to 30 to 40 shares, I'm going to stop averaging down on it and let it play out. And then I bought some TQQQ just as like a little hedge in case if the market continues to go up. I don't think it's going to in the medium run. I think it's due for a pullback. Just looking at the long-term charts, like the 2-hour, 4-hour, and even the 1-hour and 30-minute charts are starting to show overbought on the NASDAQ specifically. So we'll see what happens at the end of the day. But that is my update so far, and I'll kind of show you guys really quickly overall year to date. Now again, this is 3 weeks to the day now. We are up about $200 on a $1,500 account. That is roughly 12 to 13, maybe even a little bit more, between 12 to 14% profit so far in the last 3 weeks. So not bad at all. And if you guys are wondering kind of how I'm going to use my portfolio and whatnot, me and my fiance decided what I'm going to do is whatever profit I make, I'm going to keep half of it in the account and keep growing it and all that good stuff. And then half of it I'm going to take out, and we're going to just continue to build up our emergency fund and whatnot. We're planning on buying a house, me starting my business in the next, hopefully no later than a year from this month, and just a lot of things going on. So that's what I'm doing with my account. Okay, so now to what the whole point of the video is, since we got the update and whatnot out of the way, just how you can get pretty much the exact setup that I have right here. And it's not perfect by any means. I mean, the thumbnail says best. I mean, everybody has their own version of best. This is what's worked for me so far. I've adjusted it a little bit here and there. One of you guys, Mike, actually in our Discord group chat, which by the way, if you're not in there already, it's in the description box. It's free to join. I don't charge for anything associated with this channel, of course. But he actually suggested this DMI, which definitely comes in handy when you're looking at quick day trades. But I'm always adjusting it a little bit here and there, usually every few months. But this so far is what I've been using since this exact setup I've been using now since roughly, I want to say, September of last year. So it's had a pretty good run, about 8 months now already that I've been using this setup. So we'll go over here to the study tab, and if you're new to Thinkorswim in general, I have another video you guys can look in the stock market lessons. It's from about 2 years ago now, of like how to set up Thinkorswim, like all the buttons and everything, like studies and all that good stuff, editing your candles, all of that. But we'll go over here and hit edit settings, or edit studies. So you can see here I have the 200s SMA, I have the 50 SMA, I have a displaced EMA of 8 and 34, and I'll explain kind of the EMA part a little bit more detail in a minute. I have the volume, of course, in the background as well. And then I have my RSI, which is set at 14, 70, 30. And if you want to figure out how to adjust it, there's this little setting button right here. You just click that, and then you can go in here and adjust all of that, your length, your overbought, oversold, all that good stuff. And then MACD, this is the one that I really messed with. I have it set at 4, 10, 16. So for your fast length 4, slow length 10, and then the MACD length 16. That is the main one that I've messed with the most. This is what most, I would say, like institutional day traders, people that are more professional, so to speak, tend to have theirs. If you Google what are the best day trading MACD settings, this will pop up probably on 9 out of 10, if not 10 out of 10 of articles and whatnot that you'll read. So that is one that you'll definitely want to either like take a screenshot of, or if you take notes or anything when you watch YouTube videos, you might want to pause it and just take a note right there. But that tends to work out pretty well as well, especially on like the 5-minute, 15-minute, and 30-minute and 1 hour charts. A lot of times, I don't really use the 1 minute chart too often, unless if I'm looking for like a scalp or something like that. I usually use, for like my trades, since I'm trading more of like ETFs and whatnot at the moment, the leveraged ETFs specifically, I tend to look more at like 15 minutes on up, even as much as, like I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, 4 hours. I'll even look as high as 4 hours just to see kind of what we look like for like the next few days, week out even. But yeah, this MACD setting, it has worked ever since I changed this up about 8 months ago, 6 to 8 months ago. I've had really a lot much better results, and that's with trading futures, stocks, all that good stuff. And then we have our DMI here, and it's just set at 10 for our length. And what we did here is we color coded the DI plus, so like your quote unquote buying signal is green, sell would be red, and then your ADX in layman's terms is just neutral, essentially. We keep that as gray because it's not a huge deal, really. The ones we're paying attention to the most are your greens and reds, your buy and sell, so to speak. Let me see here. And then I also have, I did not know that I still had this, I have the sentiment zone oscillator, and that's just kind of telling you, and it's not showing up, so I don't know where it is. It is on my phone. Let me see. Sometimes I have to, there we go, it's right there. So that's just kind of telling you what the overall sentiment is. When you get up here, you're getting pretty heavy to the bullish side, and when you're getting down here, you're getting pretty heavily over. So this, I don't ever look at it on like short-term charts. I look at it at the minimum 1 hour chart, and usually I don't even look at it other than on daily and weekly chart. So like a lot of times what I'll do is I'll just start here right out of the gate, and you can see starting to get a little bit aggressive on the buying side here. Obviously, I mean, god damn, I mean, it's up like 40% now on the NASDAQ, roughly. Actually, pretty close to that. Let's see, from the low, which is 66.2875, to the high, you're talking roughly about 35% so far. So, I mean, man, you can see why this is starting to peak at, look like it's starting to definitely show some signs of overbought. MACD starting to get pretty stretched out on the daily chart. RSI hasn't hit overbought yet on that, but again, I just mainly use this on longer term charts. I'll usually start at the 1 year, 1 day, and then just kind of work my way down. Sometimes I'll take a look at the weekly, like when the market was stupid oversold, I pulled up the weekly. You can see here it dipped down to just pretty stupidly oversold conditions. And you can see now we just crossed the neutral. We're starting to enter kind of not overbought by any means, but definitely entering obviously quite a bit of buying. So it's a good one to look at. I wouldn't like base your trade solely. Again, when it comes to these indicators, I can't stress enough, guys, don't base your trades just off of one indicator or even 3 or 4. I mean, just take a look at just all of your indicators, get a overall sentiment, like take a look at the news, all that good stuff. I mean, you can usually tell kind of what the sentiment is overall. And usually whatever everybody is doing, tend to go with the opposite, especially if you're kind of a swing trader. Just tend to do the opposite of what everybody else is doing. But again, 1 hour chart, you can see it got pretty overbought, or not overbought necessarily, but sentiment was super high just after the closing bell. So it'll be interesting to kind of see what happens overnight. But yeah, that is pretty much my chart setup. So we'll just kind of zoom out here. So again, we have the, get it pulled back up. We have the 2 SMAs, the 50, the 200. We have the displaced DMAs, which I have not talked about yet. I'll talk about that right now here after this. DMI, sentiment zone, MACD, RSI. This is pretty much all I have. So if you like want to take a screenshot of that so you can go in there and like adjust your settings if you want to have the same setup and whatnot, I'll give you guys a second to do that as I just get a sip of this water. And hopefully our stream has been doing okay. I see we got 2 of you tuning in, so that's awesome stuff. And again, if we have anybody that's going to be tuning in for the first time, we'd love to have you here. Definitely consider hitting that subscribe button below and hitting that bell icon. That way you'll be notified every time we go live or upload another video. So what I'll show you guys here with my whole displaced DMA, I only pay attention to the displaced DMA also whenever I'm looking at more of scalping. And I mention this quite a bit whenever it tends to work a lot better with ES, because I was using this a lot when trading like ES. So we'll just kind of go through just the actual intraday session. And I already forgot like what my color coding is. I think my 34 is the yellow color, if I remember, or it's blue. Maybe it's on my phone that it's gold. 8 was gold, that's what it was. Okay. So the light blue is our 34. It's not even showing up. Do I have it hidden? Let me see. Okay. Well, anyways, we can see here the 8 is the one that I use the most anyways when it comes to scalping. 34 is kind of more for swing trading. I would use that on like the 15-minute and 1 hour charts a lot of time, but the 8 is the one, like if you don't want to have too many lines on your chart because you don't want to have all the SMAs, EMAs, all that all on your chart and have an ugly chart. I understand of the two, I would want to have the 8 EMA on just because it definitely, once you get across like within your candle, it tends to kind of, a lot of times, not every single time, again, don't base your trades off of one specific indicator or anything, but a lot of times once you get a confirmation, like in this case, for example, let's just zoom in like right here, for example. So we went up, and then we came back down, we tested it, and then we dropped, and then we tried to, on that little wick right there, we tried to test it and it failed. So like right there is where a lot of guys would have entered their trade on this, on one of these 2 candles, and then you ride it out, you just keep riding it out, and then you wait until you get a break above it, cover your profit and move on, if that makes sense. So again, that's more of like a scalping, day trading type of technique. So like say you'd gotten in right here at, we'll just call it 28.8775, and then you ended up getting out when we crossed through again. So you're talking, we'll just call it 28.69. So that was, where do we start? 85. So yeah, you had a 16-point profit there, which on the ES, you just take 16 points times $50 of profit. You're talking roughly, what would that be, like $800? And then even on MES, you're looking at about $80 of profit right there. But that was a pretty big move that we had right there. But that stuff happens on a daily basis. I mean, when you look at it big picture, it wasn't even, I mean, it was a solid move down, but you're just talking just this little chunk right here. You're not even talking about riding it all the way down. You're talking about just catching a little tiny 16-point chunk of it. And I mean, you get, especially in a market like this that we're in right now, pretty volatile one, you can get 10 to 20 points fairly easily doing scalping type of trades, but they are very risky. So I'm not suggesting anybody, especially those that are new, do scalping or anything like that. But if you do, the AEMA is definitely something to pay attention to and take into account whenever you're doing that. And then if you're wondering, kind of like, I know there's a lot of, I used to at least, not so much anymore, but I used to get a lot of questions about how do you get the level 2 quotes. It's just right over here. Like, you just pull up this, when you pull up Thinkorswim, you'll have kind of your chart or whatever, and then just over here where you have your chart and all that stuff, you just hit this level 2 button, and then ta-da, there it is right there at the bottom. You have live quotes, and those are free. You don't have to pay for them or anything like that. So we'll hop back over to NQ since that's what I'm most focused on at the moment. But yeah, that I think pretty much covers everything. Now I just want to take a look again for you guys, make sure I'm not missing anything. We talked about displaced EMA, the DMI, we talked about the oscillator, MACD, we hit on that. RSI, it's pretty self-explanatory. I'll go over it briefly. Once you enter red, you're starting to enter signs of overbought. It does not always matter. I would say it least matters on the 1 minute chart. Whenever I'm looking at RSI, for the most part, you guys know I love the 1 hour chart mostly. And even then, it doesn't always matter. It's usually a pretty good indicator, especially when you're entering like the 75 to 80 zone. You tend to get at least a minimum of about 0.5% to a percentage pullback. We can take a look right here. For example, we had kind of a double top of the RSI, and then you can see right here, just from the high, you went from 82.94 to about 79.53. So you had a pretty solid drop there. Let's see, let's map it out actually. You're talking about roughly a 4%, 4 to 4.1% move to the downside, and that was within one trading session. So I do look at the RSI a lot. The ones I honestly use the most are the RSI, the MACD, and then I kind of just look at everything else to get a good idea, kind of some confirmation essentially. So that now pretty much sums up everything. If you're just tuning in and you're in our Discord group chat and you were tuning in to kind of see my overall trades and whatnot for the day. Again, we had 9 fills total. We sold out of SPXL and TQQQ for some solid profits in the morning. We bought back into TQQQ and we sold for, again, another like $20 to $30 of profit. I think is like 22 to be exact. And then we bought some SQQQ, which is down a little bit at the moment. We bought some TQQQ to kind of slightly hedge that position. And we are still holding USO. That trade has not gone in our favor so far. We are at $29 on the downside. It was actually down quite a bit earlier. We were down $41 at one point. Last I checked, like earlier this afternoon. We have came back a little bit. I have 100 shares, so every penny it moves, it's going to be $1 profit or loss. I'm in at 41. I mean, I wish 4.71. So we're down 29 cents, pretty much. Hence down $29. And my target sell originally was honestly about $7. But honestly, if this thing can get up to $5 or $6, I'll just go ahead and just wipe my hands clean, be thanking the Lord that I actually got a little bit of profit off of this trade. I'm just sick of it taking up some buying power out of my account. I'm ready to flip that money into a different trade. So, and again, show you guys that so far we are up in the last 3 weeks pretty close to $200 in exactly 3 weeks actually from today. So that is pretty much it for this video. I don't want to drag it out too much or anything like that because it was primarily supposed to be a lesson video, and I'll be putting this in the stock market lesson playlist for anybody that's tuning in late or anything. It'll upload soon, and you guys can watch it here in a few minutes once it uploads and all that good stuff. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video and the stream. If you did, definitely make sure to smash the thumbs up button. I greatly appreciate that. And if you have any questions or anything after the video uploads, just shout it out in the comments below. I usually get back to those comments usually within a few minutes to an hour or so, but at the latest within 1 day usually. So, and of course, lastly, I haven't mentioned this much. If you haven't already joined our Discord group chat, it's in the description box. I would suggest downloading it on your phone first, the app Discord, and then hitting the link. It'll take you right to our group, no problem. We have about 160 of you in there now, so it's awesome to see that community just continue to grow day by day and week by week. That's what we're all about over here, just helping people and helping each other, just try to make a little bit of money in the market at the end of the day. But until next time, guys, keep on going out there, making your profits, covering your profits, and achieving your financial freedom this year. And I'll see you guys in the next stream, which will probably be Sunday for our weekly Sunday stock talk that we do. But until then, take it easy, guys.